Hello and welcome to Fantasy Author Reacts. I'm your fantasy author for the day, Jacob Penrod, and today we are reacting to Falsettos. I am loving this musical. I am really loving its use of structure and its use of subtext and the way it's structured itself. I think it's really fascinating and it's really well crafted, and it seems like a musical with something to say. Although I'm still trying to figure out what that is. Like I said, my name is Jacob Penrod. I wrote That's my daughter's tiara toy. I wrote this underneath the tiara. The Seven Rangers, Volume 1, Harvest. It is the story of an isolated island people who believe that they're alone in the world when suddenly they're attacked by an army of angels. And it's the story of the assembly of a team that kind of gathers together from ragtag origins to stop them. If that interests you, check it out. I've got the entire book for free on my website, or you can buy it to support me on Amazon. And yeah, with that aside, let's go ahead and just get into this. Sad Trina. Why, Trina? Why sad Trina? I guess everyone in her life is fighting, maybe? I'm curious if that's saying there's happy men that rule the world and she's tired of them, or she's tired of the ones that rule the world being happy men. I feel like it might be the first one.
Of that I'm sure they grow, but don't mature. I'd like the chance to hide in that world.
She wants to hide in the world. She doesn't necessarily want to. She doesn't necessarily aspire to be the one running things. She just wants to disappear. Is that what she's saying?
These men who aren't quite men yet, but aren't boys, make noise and throw their knives, their toys, are people's lives. They fight too hard and play too rough. They sometimes love, but not enough. My heart.
So I think she's saying that there's consequences to the actions that have been taken, especially by Marvin, where he's kind of destroyed things in his quest for a tight-knit family. But in doing so, like, there's consequences to that. And he's playing with knives, like he's cutting people up along the way, and he doesn't fully internalize those consequences, I think might be what she's saying.
Heart will beat at will, but still, it's crazy how they're acting. It's crazy my response. It's stupid how I love them, so dumb how I anticipate their wants. But as long as they amuse me, that alone is what's required. So I'll roar like I'm wired. I'll explore what I'm feeling, except what I'm feeling is tired. I'm tired.
So there's the truth of it. That's it. The writing in this is rarely on the nose. It's rarely directly saying what a character is thinking. But that kind of frees you up as a writer when you're communicating with so much subtext, that when you have a character say something outright or say it kind of bluntly, rather than it feeling like clumsy writing, you've built enough trust and like this bank of trust with your audience that it feels intentional, and it's almost more resonant having the simplicity of something like I'm tired than if you were to have a really artsy way of saying it. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And of course she's tired. Like, that makes sense.
Tired of all the happy men who rule the world. Happy, frightened men who rule the world. Stupid, charming men. Silly, childish jerks.
So
That's sad.
this is really interesting, because the musical has had a theme of masculinity so far, and kind of performing gender roles. And so this is showing what the one person who doesn't really uh, interact with their own masculinity, how they view the other characters, I think. Where Marvin wants to be in control, he wants to be seen as put together. And then you have Wizard, who wants to be seen as aloof, and you have Mendel, who wants to be seen as I think he just wants to be seen. um, but he wants to be seen as loving and affectionate. And while she does love them, she's also like, "Hey, yeah, look at this. Like this, they're just thrashing around kind of recklessly. And in doing so, that's causing a lot of real damage. And so she sees them as silly and charming, but ultimately kind of stupid and frivolous at the same time, not realizing the weight that they're throwing around.
I'll be his wife. I'll wed and change my life. I'll laugh, I'll smile, I'll welcome cheer. The time is right, the men are near. Now happiness and love appear.
It's interesting. It's interesting seeing the dichotomy between how Mendel was expressing this and how Trina's internalizing it. Where Mendel was saying, "I've got it all," and Trina is saying, "Yeah, you do." Like, but I don't. And at least that's how I'm internalizing it right now. I'm curious to see how they interrogate that.
March, march, march of the falsettos, march.
It does not cease to surprise me. I did. What the hell? Okay, it's not like it's a funny musical, but it hasn't been like frivolously silly, so I anticipate that they're saying something with this funny getup. I'll let it play out before I comment on it, but wow, I did not expect March, March, March of the Falsettos. Frankly, I think I'm ready for the stage.
Falsettos, we who is man enough to march of the falsettos. Come here, one foot following the other. Teach it to your brother, make him march, march, march of the falsettos, march of the falsettos. Oops, march.
Okay, so it's not like when they wrote this, they didn't know it was going to be silly and that it's coming off the back of kind of more serious stuff. And so that makes me think that they're using it to drive home a point. Because that's a risk that you got to take as a writer, is when you play with tone, there's a chance that the tone breaks. This hasn't broken for me, but I am really curious, like, we've got these characters who have all been posturing this entire musical, and now they're doing a high-pitched falsetto voice as they kind of dance around and make farting noises, kind of just showing how hollow the display is, I think. And it's intended to make them look as childish as possible, I think. Also, if it's not the most on brand thing for this channel to have freaking Christian Borle come on a screen and go doo dee doo dee doo, and then I'm like, indeed, story. I see. That's a good point. I don't know what else would be more on brand. What is happening?
Does this mean that I'm a fairy? What a stupid theory! Wizard says it doesn't, dearie. Don't be scared, don't get tight. Ass is bare, my delight shared with 4 young men alone in the night.
Okay, so I think we got these 4 again. This might be another tone setter where we started with 4 Jews in a room bitching. That's kind of showing these people dissatisfied with their life. And now I'm thinking this is resetting the tone. It's circling back like this musical does, in an intentional way, saying this next little arc is going to be the failure of that posturing that we've been seeing so far.
March, march, march of the falsettos, march of the falsettos. Who is man enough to march to march of the falsettos? I, 1 foot following the other, practicing one another. March, march, march of the march of the falsettos, march of the falsettos, marching
I actually think I loved that. But I'm laughing because, I mean, it's silly, but I'm also picturing the writer's room when, I forget the guy who came up with this, but he's like, okay, hear me out. Hear me out. We have them come out in glow-in-the-dark costumes or glow-in-the-dark lighting or whatever as they go doop-be-doop-be-doop, boop, boop, and they pick up their feet and they dance around and they stick their asses out and they jump up and down and they say, wee! And then everyone sits back and they're like, God, that's the smartest thing I've heard all day. Some things are just hard to pitch. So I think that's how she sees
Please
them.
forgive my former spieling. It does not concern the man. As for doubts that I've been feeling, I'll ignore them when I can.
Oh,
and
so
the things that I must do.
she's immediately backtracking what she was saying. The first time that she was actually genuinely expressing how she feels, she walks it back.
I'll do to make this all succeed. I'll commit. That's all agreed. And with wit and precision, I've made a decision to get the things I need. God, I'll try, I'll cry.
Wow, she can sing.
No, I'll laugh.
See, we see more of that self-correction where she says, I'll cry, no, I'll laugh. Trina doesn't let herself feel emotions because she has to be performing being the perfect wife, I think.
And unafraid, I'll laugh and hire a maid. I'll fight the gods, I'll fight my ex, I'll beat the odds, I'll have good sex. My future's now on trial. I smile.
So my future is now on trial. What are the implications of that? Means it's uncertain, I guess, that it's up for deliberation almost to see how things land. Let's see. They all look at each other. They're like, we must never speak of what happened in March of the Falsettos. That chess? Why is she embracing chess now? Or maybe that's just dinner.
That's the king.
Oh no.
Treat him nice. Use some brains, now protect him.
Okay, so we're immediately getting chess back as a metaphor, which has already been tied as a contrast to love by Jason. He's talking about the king, but also talking about himself.
Yes, I know. Here I go.
Play the game.
Please don't watch me. I can do it.
Have a little scotch.
I blew it. Maybe you could show me where. I fear I've lost my head.
Do you want my help?
No, I don't. I can think it through myself.
Start again. We've seen the worst.
I'll go first.
Move a pawn.
No, sir.
Move
Where?
there.
Here.
Move a pawn. Not the queen. Jesus.
Life's a
Maybe he wasn't talking about himself as the king. Maybe I was overreading that.
sham and every move is wrong. We've examined every move as we move along.
Winning is
Nothing is everything to me.
Interesting. So he said winning. Did he say winning is everything? And then he said nothing is everything.
Everything to me. Winning is nothing is everything to me.
Okay, so Marvin wants to win, but Wizard's saying, I haven't invested myself enough into anything for anything to be everything. Seeing more that aloof, detached nature.
Winning is
Nothing is
everything to me.
Except sex
Move a pawn.
and money.
Is he saying for him, like for Wizard, sex and money, or for Marvin? He moved H pawn.
Good for smooth.
Really?
Quite all right. Take
I thought that was like a showboat move.
a turn.
Thank you kindly.
Move the pawn.
So
Move the pawn.
so they both struggle to actually take action. I think Marvin wants to have his chessboard assembled and play it too, so to speak, but can't actually make himself take the action that he needs. And I think Wizard is distressed by things being assembled because it makes it feel real.
Take my hand. Play the game.
God, you're pretty.
More's the pity since you need a man who's brainy.
Or witty. Move.
What should I do now?
Move.
Where?
There.
How should I behave myself? Chess ain't how your boyfriend thinks.
This game stinks.
Let me win.
Yes, sir.
Please?
Yes.
Great.
Wait.
Wizard wins.
Wait.
Wizard wins.
Wait.
Checkmate. Life's
So I don't think either of them actually know how to play chess. And that might just be blocking that they're not thinking through how can I actually do a speed game of chess? Or it could be more of a disconnect with Jason who actually does know chess. I don't know which one's intentional.
sham and every move is wrong. We've examined.
No, at the very least, Wizard doesn't know how to play chess because he went boop, 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 boop with the same piece over and over. No, okay. The chess conspiracy is coming into play. They do not know how to play chess. And it's intentional, damn it.
And every move as we move along.
Oh, this music is pretty.
What? Marvin! It was just a
What's he doing? How did he pack so fast? That's not the operative part here.
Wizard's supposed to make the dinner, be a patsy, lose at chess, always bravely acquiesce, clip the coupons, make the dinner, and love him.
Ooh, we're getting a callback to it. I was going to say reprise, but I don't know if it's reprise or reprise. And if you know what I'm talking about and you know anything about musicals, please tell me, because this has plagued me my entire life. Okay, so interesting that Marvin is kind of forcing Whizzer into these more submissive roles. And it sounds like resentment's building because
This has gotta come to a stop.
This has been a lousy but fabulous flop.
Anyone understand? All I want's a kiss. Anyone understand?
Don't start explaining. I'm sick of explaining.
This had better come to a stop. Whizzer now, Whizzer chow, Whizzer bed.
This had better
this feels like more high stakes fighting than we've seen them do before.
come. This had better come to a this had better come to an
This had better come to an end.
This had better come to an end.
Interesting.
Welcome to our humble place. We're concerned with setting a tone. With
So that's interesting that there's so much discord in Marvin's life. I'm curious if they're still going to be assembled, because we've seen this underlying unhappiness with Trina that she's pushing down. We know Jason, he wanted a father figure. And then there's Mendel, who is just happy to be here, I think. But I think might find that he wasn't going to solve what he was hoping to solve.
filling the space, making a home.
She becomes a happy wife.
He decides the role to assume, building a life.
Shaping a room.
So this set definitely is intentional in how they're doing it, I think, where the set is always built for the next scene by disassembling disparate parts to make something whole. And I think that the set itself is a metaphor for these characters whose lives are falling apart and then constantly being rebuilt into something new. I am still haunted by March of the Falsettos. I don't know what to do with that. It just keeps flashing back. And suddenly I'm having fever dreams of Christian Borle in a little spinny hat.
What it needs is people, men and women talking, men and women thinking out loud. How far to go?
Visit when you please, you are not required to phone. We'll buy the cheese.
So
God bless our home.
So it seems like peace, but they prefaced it by saying they're concerned with setting a tone. So I'm curious if that's going to last.
Books abound to show we read. The dog's been fleed and sent outside to play. I hope it runs away.
This has got to be confusing messaging for Jason, who is already struggling, like, what does my life say about me? And now he's sort of getting a message that it's not okay to be broken because you have to keep up appearances.
So do I.
So do I.
Afternoons we make hors d'oeuvres. After afternoons we receive. This is the prize. Making believe. What it needs is people, men and women laughing, men and women thinking out loud. Should he love
Could he love me?
So Trina saying should, and then we get Whizzer saying could? Is that what happened?
Should he love
So that's an intentional switch up. We've got should he from Trina, then should she from Mendel, then could he, where it sounds like Wizard's questioning if it's even in Marvin's nature, because Marvin wants to be loved, but he won't move his own pieces of the chessboard. That's starting to click for me. Where he wants Wizard to be the one to tend to things, but he wants to keep up this facade. I guess going back to that fever dream, March of the Falsettos, I think Marvin would give anything to never be seen like that by anyone. He wants this control, and he is unwilling to let himself be seen and be vulnerable, even if that helps the people that he genuinely, I think, loves, while he's demanding that they do the same. So why don't I hate him? I don't know. That's a really fascinating high wire act they've been doing with characterization. And I'll investigate that a little bit later.
Love me. Yes, we love the bed.
Yes, we love to fight the unknown, baking the bread,
Sharpening knives,
forging ahead,
loving us, hating our lives, making a home, making a home.
Is Wizard really going?
Making a home.
I don't know much about music beyond basic stuff, but the melodies and harmonies in this are really interesting because they never go where I would most expect them to go, but also never where I would least expect it to go, with the exception of March of the Falsettos. It's always taking the most medium expected routes. And so like it's coherent enough that I can follow it and I'm like, wow. But then it's also unexpected enough that I'm like, wow. And that's my music theory. I don't know what to make of it. If you know what it's doing musically, let me know. I'm really fascinated.
I don't look for trouble. I do
A
not
Wizard song.
accept blame. I've a good and a bad side, but they're one and the same. Ask me to arouse you, I will rise and obey. These are the games I play. I screw every morning, then bathe and drink tea. I've been playing canasta disastrously. All my recreation seems to suit me okay. These are the games I play.
So to what end is he playing the game? I think it's about self-protection, but I'm curious if the character knows, where he's realizing I do all these things that are like hedonistic and pleasuring and relaxing and taking care of myself, but what's left to take care of at the end of that?
It's tough with love. Love's tough to show. Play again the music. It's a song that I've been waiting to hear so long ago. I bet on the horses. I die by degree. I'm sure his divorce is a tribute to me.
Interesting that he perks up when he sings that. So he bets on the horses. So he takes risk even to his own downfall potential.
Ask me if I love him. It depends on the day. These are the games I play. It's tough, my friend. Love's looking strong. Let me face the music. It's a song that I've been waiting to hear for much too long. Years too long.
What is it?
It hurts not to love him. It hurts when love fades.
I don't think he doesn't love him. I think that he's telling himself he doesn't love him. And that's the game he's playing because it makes it easier to leave, or it makes it easier to tolerate the pain that Marvin is causing him if he tells himself he doesn't. But we've seen how they love each other.
It's hard when part of him is off playing family charades. Ask me if I need him.
Oh.
Get him out of my way. These are the games. These are.
I haven't even considered how that would feel where Marvin ran off with him and it seemed like he was choosing him, but he didn't really stick with him. He's still trying to have a cohesive family. And Wizard's being remarkably supportive in the sense that he's still like talking to Trina and helping Jason make decisions. But that's got to feel like this person that he obviously cares about has one foot still out the door. I don't know if that's a saying. I feel like that's a saying. Like he's asking Wizard to be fully committed while he's presenting as fully committed, but he's not fully committed.
These are the games. These are the only games I play.
Wow. So how is Marvin taking it?
Hello, Trina. Thank you for sending this goodness, Trina. I am relieved. Frankly, Trina, nice of you sending this. Thank you, Trina. I have received your new sent wedding invitations. They are pseudo-romantic and sick. You say you'll love him until you both die. You die on May 27th at 8.
Huh.
He has lost his mind. Marvin is not so uncouth.
So uncouth is an interesting word, mostly because I don't know what it means. I am not that smart. That's uncouth, if you ask me. That would be funny if I accidentally used it correctly.
Marvin is not so unkind.
Mendel's not a maniac, and he's sweet, and he's warm, and
So I don't think that it's actually about loving Trina for Marvin. I think it's about him losing control of something he sees as his.
he loves me so.
Tell me, Trina, what was the impetus? Sorry, Trina, look in my eyes. Really, Trina, this is ridiculous. Jesus, Trina, how I despise your need for
Oh.
stupid conversation. You are trying to ruin my sleep.
And this is all right in front of Jason, too.
I'm sure you chose him to make me look bad. How could you ever deny what we had?
And this is, oh, whoa, okay. Let's start by saying this is an indicator of Marvin's maybe at maximum personality, at minimum current temperament, where he's interpreting Trina finding love as a slight against him, as a personal thing, where she's like, I think I'm going to get married. And he goes, this is the worst thing to happen to me. How dare you do that to me? And what did he say? Lose sight or deny what we had? But he's the one who ran off. She's just doing a more honest thing of what he already did.
We had fights and games. Marvin called us funny names. Marvin always Marvin acts like he's untrained. Marvin, I am so ashamed. And he's sweet. And he's mean. Do I love him?
And Jason's just taking it all in.
No.
I'm a little confused about the blocking to know if they're actually together or if we're like, I don't know if we're literally seeing scenes that are happening in these characters' lives or if we're seeing thematic moments that represent eras of these characters' lives. And I think it might be that, but I think it's a combination of both, actually. I don't believe that he doesn't love him, but I think that he believes that he believes.
I am so dumb.
Well, ooh. So he slaps her. You immediately see him regret it, but he's tantruming. He's being like a child. Oh my gosh, I did not expect that. But yeah, she said earlier on in this little act or little segment that she sees him as a child, and he's just proving her right. A complete lack of any kind of coping strategy. He's hitting things, he's hitting her, he's tantruming, he's tearing things up, he's accusing, he's making it about him. He's just putting on this front and posturing to avoid revealing just how fragile he actually is. And now he just crossed a huge line. Right again, right in front of Jason. Gosh.
I never wanted to love you.
That's different than I never loved you.
To love and not be blamed. Let me go.
I love that she's the one to confront him, because she's been a character who's lacked agency this whole musical, but it hasn't been an accidental lacking of agency. It's been interrogating that and wrestling with the fact that this character doesn't have her own agency. And now, rather than letting Mendel step up and be like, "You slap my wife, I slap you," whatcha, as he's prone to do, it's letting her take a stand and confront the attack directly. And I think it would send a pretty different thematic message if she were to shrink at this too.
You should know I'm not ashamed to have loved you.
I love you more than I meant to. In my profession, one's love stays unexpressed. Here we stand. Take my hand, God. I'm distressed.
It's interesting because it's about unwanted love in a lot of ways, where Mendel, has a love that wasn't supposed to be there, and he didn't necessarily want at first. Like, eventually he entertained it in appropriate ways. But then that kind of transferred to, or not transferred, it's mirrored by Trina, who has this unwanted love where she's not ashamed of having loved Marvin, but she didn't really want to love him. She just wanted to be a person and have that be allowed. And then we have Jason, who I think love is confusing for him. He doesn't know what to do with it. And he sees love be fickle and hurtful. And he has these people he's been told he's supposed to love, his parents, who aren't setting healthy examples of love to him. And then you have Whizzer, who's terrified by love and runs in the opposite direction to find kind of facsimiles of love, things that look like love. And that's really interesting, because it seems like this is setting up to be a musical about what's the cost of love, and is love something you choose, or is it something that happens to you, and what do you do when it's in your lap?
How I love
I
you.
hate the world.
He hates everything.
I love my
He
dad.
loves his father.
I love the things I never had.
Love our family.
Lord, hear our call.
Help us all.
Help us all.
Help us all. I never wanted.
Who are Jewish people talking about when they say Lord? Is that the same as God? I don't know. I guess that's more of a religion question than a writing question. Yeah.
To love you. I never wanted till
Oh,
death.
let me-
Never wanted to love you.
So even him didn't
I
want.
never wanted
Even he didn't want
till
to.
death do we two part. Condescend, stay my friend. How do I start? not to love you.
So how do I start not to love you? Or he doesn't want it again, but he has it, so he doesn't know what to do with it. How does he undo a love that he's not supposed to have?
I'm everything he wanted. It's time I put it all together. Our hands were tied. My father cried, "You marry, we married."
I never wanted to love you. I only wanted to see my face in yours.
I think that's
Jason's wild, save this child. How he adores and hates me. It really killed me when you took those vows. Don't misunderstand, I'm in demand. And anyhow.
so I think it hurts him because not only is he losing control, but he's seeing Mendel make these promises that he wants Wizard to make, even though he's not willing to make them himself.
Now we're through. I never wanted, I never wanted to love you. I never wanted to love you. I never wanted to love
That sounds like an act closer chord. Let's see.
My father says that love is the most beautiful thing in the world. I think girls are. I think girls are the most beautiful thing. Not love.
Solid opinion. That I would agree with, but also let's interrogate this. I wouldn't say over love. I think that what's going on here is it's less about Jason actually liking girls and more about Jason taking a stand of being the anti-Marvin in some ways, where he loves him but he hates him, and he's terrified throughout this whole thing of becoming him. And so when he's saying, I think girls are the most beautiful thing in the world, he has attributed, I guess he's attributed attraction to men as something that's inherently tied to his father. And so by taking a stand in girls being the most beautiful thing in the world, he's not saying, like, look how beautiful women are. He's saying, look at me not being. Oh, no. I mean, why don't I hate this character?
kid. Be my son. What I've done to you is rotten.
That's a start.
I was scared. I kept marching in one place. Marching in time.
Marching in one place as in making movements as if he's moving, but actually not going anywhere. It's going to take a lot of work, I think, to undo what he's done.
To a tune I'd forgotten. I loved you.
Loved?
I love you.
There we go.
I meant no disgrace.
Look at how uncomfortable Jason is, because we've seen throughout this whole thing, whether he's pushing it on Wizard or whether he's pushing it on Mendel, he's desperate for a father figure, and I think he wants that to be his father. He just can't trust it. And even now, like, how is he supposed to trust this? Even if Marvin is sincere in the moment, he makes things about him. He chooses him, and like, he probably wants more than anything to trust his dad, but he can't.
This here is love. When we're face to face.
So interesting. He talks about love and then immediately goes to chess. But Marvin moves the chessboard away because he doesn't know how to play chess.
Father to son.
He's making him engage with it. He's not letting him hide in his coping mechanism. Which I don't know if this is actually loving or if this is just another control tactic. And I think that's the brilliance of this character, is I don't think he knows.
I, for one, would take love slower. I've made my choice. You can sing a different song. Watch as you sing, how your voice gets much lower. You'll be kid.
I don't trust this. Like, it's
Man,
sweet, but
kid.
I think that he's feeling bad, but
If nothing goes wrong, sing for yourself as you march along.
so he's saying find out who you are as you move. I think he's giving him permission to not follow him because he's saying I'm marching in place. Which I actually think I like more than him saying trust me despite everything I've done. This feels like a story conclusion in some ways more than a midpoint.
Kid,
But it also feels like a midpoint.
you'll be kid. Whatever your song, sing for us all as we march along.
So I don't trust the apology, but I actually think this is a big moment for Marvin because he's letting go of control. He said he never wanted to love him. He just wanted to see his face in them collectively, I think. But that might have been addressed to Jason. And now he's saying it's okay if I don't see me. You just find out who you are and kind of march to that tune. And I think that's got to be really painful permission to give. This isn't what I expected. I thought this was going to be like a, hey, I've been a shitty dad. Please forgive me. And then it would either be rejected or accepted. But this is, I think, more potent than that. Goes for a handshake. Oh. Okay, there we go. Wow, that felt like the end. That felt like the ending of something. If they had ended before this last song, I think it would have felt more like a midpoint. But that felt like we got a sort of conclusion where it was the story of a man trying to hold on to everything and losing it. But since this is a midpoint, I'm curious if he's going to regain it or if he's going to lose harder. And my guess is both. That he's going to lose harder, but Act 2 is going to be about him building these scraps from his whole life that he's just ripped apart. Wow. And so before I end, let's investigate the character a little bit, specifically Marvin. I think he's the most interesting to me because I should hate him. He's not likable. He's not particularly proactive. He's not moving the story along very much. He fights with people. He isn't very sympathetic. He's not very good at what he does. Like, he's not good at his one goal of keeping things together. But I think despite the bad things that he's doing and the bad behavior, it feels real. It feels human, where I find myself asking what caused this character to become like this, to have a personality like this. Why is he so afraid of losing control? Why is he so afraid of being seen as silly or as weak? And wow, that was just a fascinating Act 1, where I feel like I have such a vivid rendering of all these characters, and I'm really excited to see what happens with it. If you want to see that early, head over to Patreon, where it's going to be up by the time you see this, probably Act 2. And if you're on Patreon, thank you so much. Act 2 should be coming soon. I'm really, really, really enjoying this. This might be up there near Arcane for me, for things that I've seen and enjoyed on this channel. I think it's my favorite musical that I've seen on the channel. We'll see how it pays it off and if it can stick the landing. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely loving this. Let's go ahead and end it there, and I'll see you in the next one.